So thank you everyone who's going to watch the replay or is here with us tonight as we go through this class, which is minimalist home maintenance and minimalist health maintenance. So Shira is going to start us off. She is Ms. Fix-It, and she has over 20 years of experience in construction. And she's going to walk us through probably a bunch of stuff that I know I don't do whatsoever. So I'm super excited to learn from her of do-it-yourself stuff that you should do on a regular basis and check so that you can make sure that your home stays up to date and the way that it needs to be. And also a couple of things will help your health as well. And then when she's done, I'm gonna go over 7 things that you need to have immediately to boost your immune system and keep your health, especially if you're somewhere like up north and we're in the wintertime like me. But with the things that we have circling the planet right now, everyone is concerned about their immune system. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Shira so she can start her portion.
All right, thanks for having me, Tashina. As Tashina already mentioned, I have over 20 years, 25 to be exact. I started as a 5-year-old, in case you're wondering, experience in construction. So I started as an electrician. I still am an electrician. That's usually my day job. But about maybe 6 years ago, 7, I started flipping trailers and tiny homes, and now I live in kind of a container home on wheels. The entire journey of that can be found on my channel. She's Electric, SHEEZELECTRIC. It is also in the chat box for those of you that are with us on Zoom. Please follow me there. I also have Ms. Fix-It on Instagram. Please feel free to follow me there too. And I provide DIY tutorials on how to do just about anything. Most everything is electrical related with me, but I have branched out. Now I'm my own handy woman, started the company Ms. Fix-It about a year ago during COVID time so I could control my exposure a little bit better. And so I'm all about minimalist living because the less you have, the less you have to take care of. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. And feel free, if you have any questions, to save them till a little bit later. I'm just going to go through some basic home maintenance. I really was racking my brain on what are some things that are general that everybody needs to do in their home. So what I did find is that to be truly minimalist and sustainable, it's not enough to just use repurposed objects, which is something I love doing. I'm all about repurposing, dumpster diving, recycling. This entire home was given up on, and yet it became my home and everybody loves it. So everything is sustainable. But when you're thinking about maintaining your home, no matter what size it is, apartment, etc., you want to opt for sustainable cleaning supplies, and you want to make sure that you are avoiding clutter, especially in a small space. The less you have, the better. So you'll see little things in my home, like you'll see I have the guitar hanging up. You want to have things to hang your things on, right? And that requires maintenance every now and then when you see things starting to sag, like my guitar was doing or kind of still is doing. You're going to go in and with your screwdriver, tighten up those screws. Those are some basic maintenance. But another thing that I thought about that everybody has in their house, even though they may be different. I'm going to switch to my other account right now. So let me turn this camera off a minute. Here we go. So with this one, I'm trying to be technologically inclined, but I'm not. Here we go. So let me flip this camera around. I did know how to do this once upon a time on Zoom. Unmute. Okay, there we go. All right, so here, let me turn down my volume on the other speaker. We have my window unit. Not the fanciest thing, but once again, it's repurposed, recycled, is actually already in the home. The vent, my, filter, I should say. It's kind of homemade, but it's actually a very good one. What I love about this is, once again, it's something that's repurposed, like it can be reuse. It's sustainable. So at least once a month, more often if you live in places like Florida, you want to make sure you're vacuuming out these vents, whatever your air conditioning unit is, which this one needs to be done. Ah, for shame. And washing your filter also with mild detergent and water is fine. So these kind of things are going to help your air quality in your home, of course. That's very important, safety wise. Also, in Florida, at least, we have mold issues. So a little bit of mold remediation, something you can do before it gets to be a big problem. Something I do, if you have a dehumidifier, great. If you don't, I have these little cheats right here. Ooh, let me see if I can find one of mine. Here we go. I get mine from the Dollar Tree, but you can get them, damp rig, like the real thing is fine. But these at the Dollar Tree, guys, they absorb so much moisture. They also have charcoal in them. So that's going to help you, especially in the winter. I think everywhere in the world, you have condensation issues a lot of time because you've got the heat running and then the air, combines. And so that can really cause a lot of extra humidity you don't want in the house. So you're going to want to use something like this, just get them a dollar a piece, or you can actually go all in and get a dehumidifier to help extract some of that moisture, and that's going to prevent mold. Now, if you do find some spots of mold, don't panic. A little bit of mixture of 3/4 water and a little bit of bleach is what I usually do at least once a year, sometimes twice a year because I'm in Florida, and wipe down the walls. Okay, so those are two very simple maintenance things that should be done in your home. At least I would say at least once a year, but quarterly wouldn't be bad either, depending on where you're living. All right, and so now we're gonna move. You guys are gonna get a mini tour of my house too. We're gonna move into the main living area, and you'll see my smoke detector. Now, this is a little piece of something that should be in everybody's home. You'll see mine has this little button you can push to test to see if it's working. But I also saw it flashing already. I don't want to deafen you guys, so I'm not gonna push the button. But the battery, I found out recently, should be changed at least once a year, even before it's chirping. We've all been in people's houses where that annoying chirping is going on. Don't be that person. Besides the fact it's super annoying, you want to make sure that your smoke detector is working correctly, because if not, then if there's a fire, you won't know. So that's one thing that I think is very important on annual maintenance. You see how easy it is to come down, right? It goes back in there and twist. Okay. So even before it starts chirping, you want to do that at least once a month. I would push the button to hear if it's working. Now, not everyone's, how can I put it? Not everyone's smoke detectors are hardwired and battery power. So if yours is, got an echo. Okay. If yours is only battery, then that's fine. That's all you need to do is just change the battery. That's what mine is. I didn't wire it into my house, even though I'm an electrician. If it's also hardwired, then if it's chirping, it may be another battery in the series in your house that isn't working. So you just have to go. I would recommend just change all the batteries at once. Once you do one, then you'll know that they've all been changed recently. Okay, so that's maintenance item number 3. They're super simple, right? You want to clean your AC filters regularly. You want to try to prevent mold growing in your house by using the dehumidifiers, the little ones like I have if you want, or like a legit one. That's cool. And you want to make sure that your smoke detectors are working. And yeah, check that out at least once a year, but you're probably gonna need to do it more often than that. Make sure you have some batteries on hand. All right, let's see. What else did I have in my notes? Nice. Bear with me. All right, so I saw here something about investing in quality appliances, and that sounds like it's not really related to maintenance, but it is, because if you are in a situation like mine, that you own your home, you own these things in the home, the better quality it is, the less often you have to maintain it, the less often you have to switch it out or pay more for maintenance. So in order for you to make it simpler, I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily spend a lot of money on the things that I buy, but I try to make sure that they're decent quality. So even secondhand, if you're going to be going to Goodwill or getting it on Let Go, which is how I get a lot of my stuff, make sure that you are getting something that has a pretty reliable brand name. I'm gonna give you an example. My little refrigerator here, E-Wave. No, here we go. So yes, in the notes that I put that your space can have an impact on your overall mental health. And I think we all knew that, right? Decluttered space is a decluttered mind, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have a small space, especially, you want to cut back on what you have. You don't need 5 coats, maybe you just need 3. So minimizing how much you have in your life will also lower stress levels, et cetera. And I highly recommend that. All right, there was, okay, where we were. Clean oven. If you have an oven, I don't, I have a little toaster oven. So you wanna make sure you're cleaning your oven regularly. I don't have a video on that on my channel, but there are many on YouTube. Can't specifically recommend any. But what I've read about how important it is to do that, especially if it's a gas stove, once again, those valves can get clogged. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that you're keeping those lines clean so that the gas can flow through. If it's an electric stove, it's a little less maintenance involved, but especially gas stove, you want to make sure that you're going to clean that at least once a year, even if it doesn't look like it needs it and you barely cook. These things happen. Okay. Another thing that I don't actually have in my little house is a dryer. So your dryer has a vent that goes out, right? You've all seen that like flexible tube that goes out the back of the dryer. So that's supposed to carry your lint outside. What happens a lot of times is that gets clogged, and that could be a fire hazard. So once again, these are little things like vents, but it can make a big difference in how well your dryer works. Once again, you want to last longer. And in as far as a fire hazard, you don't want anything, lint is combustible, you know? So if it's getting a lot of heat to it and the air is hot air is passing through there, that is a possible fire hazard. So you want to make sure you clean that out regularly, not just a little vent thing that you take out and clean off there, but the exhaust part, wherever it's going out, you want to clean that up. All right. We also have on the list of maintenance, clean gutters. Once again, doesn't apply to me, but I'm trying to do this in general for everybody else. So cleaning gutters, and for me, I have a flat roof. So at least once a year, I make sure I get up there safely on a ladder and sweep it off. Because when you have leaves stacking up on your roof or in your vent, it's going to attract water and bugs, once again, that are going to decompose and have a detrimental effect on your roof. So, and your, you know, the what do you call that thingy? The gutters too. So you want to make sure you're cleaning those out regularly. I think biannually it would be more than enough. Annually in my case. So especially after fall, I recommend people do that because you've got a lot of leaves. Clean them up. Don't just leave them there, because as they decompose, they encourage rot, and you don't want that. Another simple thing that you can do around your home, you want to leave anything, once again, that is decomposable, wood, like piles of wood, or things that may attract termites. And in my case, carpenter ants. Carpenter ants are out of control out here. I'm in the woods. So carpenter ants eat wood just like termites do. You do not want them around. So regular pest control mediation, but also don't encourage them by putting places for them to live. So if you put like plastic down too close to the house, that water that collects palmetto bugs, ants, you name it, they love those kind of environments. They love dampness and moisture. So you're going to think I'm really anti-dampness and moisture, but I live in Florida. It attracts all sorts of creepy crawlies. You don't want that. All right, then let's see, we said check for, pest control regularly. Check for mold, mildew, we discussed that. The smoke detector. Oh, this is a fun fact that I found out, that smoke detectors have expiration dates on them. Didn't know that. So they're located in a different place on each smoke detector. That's why I didn't show you on mine, but you're going to want to check for that, because every 10 years they have an expiration date. So if you're in a rental situation, make sure you bring that out to your super. Maybe they need to update that. There might be the reason too for the constant chirping. It might just be dead. So once again, that goes back to general safety and your household maintenance. Make sure that those kind of small items are taken care of. Another recommendation I have is to have a fire extinguisher in your home and a first aid kit. So that doesn't quite go into maintenance, but it does go into safety, and it's all under the same umbrella. So let's see, a quick review of what we talked about so far would be lots of vents, right? AC vent, dryer vent, the vent hood filter vent, and making sure that you are doing simple things like testing your smoke detector a couple of times in the year, and keeping things that could attract bugs and termites and ants away from your home, especially from the edges of it, because they can crawl up that into your home. Regular pest control, whatever you choose to use, if it's something more natural, whatever, as long as it's effective. If you do have allergy issues, which most of us do these days, I love the damp rid, once again, the air filter. I have a HEPA air filter. Those are good to have. And those air filters too, they're recyclable. So you want to make sure that you're cleaning those filters regularly there. I think those were all that we covered so far, right? Yep. Okay, so for up north, I have a few specialty items, not that I really know because I've never lived in the cold. I'm Caribbean, we don't do that. But there are many things that also apply for us here in Florida. So I put a note there, make sure your generator is gassed up and that your spare batteries are charged. For those up north, you want to do that in the winter. Well, before it gets to be winter, ideally. For us, when it's hurricane season, both of those things are very important. So if you do have a generator, make sure you have plenty of spare gas. And I have a video about that on my channel too, how to install your own generator. Good to have. And spare batteries for your flashlights. Many of us have go kits, and those are very important. The scary times that we're living in, it's good to be prepared. But make sure that you have spare batteries, because what's the point to a flashlight with no battery? All right, and then with winter heat management, maybe I have a couple notes there. Let me switch back to the other camera because my arm is getting tired. Okay, so with heat management and control, we know that has to do with our heat bill too for many of us. The best way to make sure that you are keeping that bill down and maintaining your house as warm as possible or as cold as possible in the summer for us is to make sure that the seals around your windows and your doors are tight. So there's some simple things you can do. You can buy weather stripping to go on. I'm sure you guys have seen that before. It's adhesive. The adhesive type is what I usually like to use. And it's a foam. I wish I did have a piece of that around, but I have a video about that too, I think, on my channel, that you're going to go around your window. If you feel like there's some kind of draft, or even if your windows just have some age on them, you want to make sure that you put that sealing down there. Let me see if I can find that on my other camera. I think I can find it real quick. Just a second, I can find an example of that in my house. So, here we go. You guys see that? I muted again, sorry. So here is an example of the weather stripping. If you could see it right there, that gray lining, I kind of stuffed it in the cracks around this window. So that's an example of a way that you can help your heating bills, and also it helps keep bugs out. I've also put it around my door down here. If you can see it there, it's really dark, but it's stuffed in there. Because it is foam, it kind of compresses on itself, but it saves you so much. It helps cut back so many drafts. So since it is just foam, you want to make sure that you are checking the status of that. Make sure that it hasn't started to decompose. After 3 or 4 years, maybe, I think the weather stripping will probably start to give. You may need to reapply it. Of course, if you can afford to get new windows and doors, by all means, do that. But these things are all part of maintenance. When you have your own home, or when you are leasing a home, or when you're going to be long-term in a space, all these things are going to help you as far as your bills, your health, and yes, all of those things. So the last item I think I had for, and this is of course all based on my research because I don't live in the cold, how you can protect your floors from salt and water and scratches in the wintertime. So you want to make sure that you have a nice mat out front. For us here in Florida, once again, it's just a matter of not tracking in so much dirt and maintaining your floors. Once again, you want to try to always have somewhere where you can clean off your feet before you come in, because those small scratches over time, especially if it's a wood floor, are going to attract more dirt, and it's going to attract more pests, and that is not good for your health. So I think those are all the points that I had. Does anybody have any questions? Did I go over anything too fast? Yeah. That's
I
it.
have a question. So when it comes to the filters, you were talking about air conditioning. Does that apply to the heaters for us up here, up north as well?
Yes, many times it's all one system. So if the heater is going to be your air handler, and a lot of times those are located in a closet. So you want to be making sure that those, depending on where you are, if it's a rental situation, sometimes they will change your filters for you. Or if you yourself want to get your own filters, I want to everybody make sure you do your own research on what is actually filtering out. You want to get something that has I don't know, like a high allergen rating. It's just, there's all these different filters have gotten so much further past like the basic blue filters from back in the day. So I wouldn't want to like suggest for anyone in particular. Like I said, I just use this recyclable one myself, and I tend to do like a aerosol spray that I make myself of peroxide on it, because that's really good for killing all the bad guys. So that's something that I do regularly. After that soap and water clean off, then I'll also do that peroxide spray. I do the peroxide spray more often than I do the actual clean off, as was evident earlier. So yes, if you have a vacuum cleaner, you could even go in there too, especially on these grates, because they have those on yours in your apartment and your air handler too, to vacuum out that all that dust that you can. Okay, I see your comment there, Nicole. Thank you. He says, yeah, excellent points, especially hood filter. I had one in the apartment that was so gross, I didn't even know. Yeah, it's easy not to see it. And that takes me to the fans. If you have a fan of any kind too, those, because they're often in motion, are often ignored, and they're covered with dust. Once again, it's going to affect how it works and how you feel, because dust, almost everybody's allergic to dust mites. Little things too, like your mattress, making sure it's in a zipped help plastic covering that mattress so that it doesn't get full of dust mites. All these things are like maintenance items, but they're things that no matter where you live, it's going to affect your health. It's going to affect your air quality. So I'd highly recommend you look into all of that.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When it comes to your generator for if the power goes out or something, what would be, in your experience, or what one have you used, or do you have? Or do you have
As
like a
far
gas
as
powered one, or do you have like electrical with battery that you charge, or what do you do?
there are so
Or have?
many out there. I only have a little inverter because I live in a tiny place, and where I live, there are lots of other friends nearby, and they have a generator. So,
Mm.
but I've installed several generators. So, I'm a fan of the gas powered ones, there's lots of progress with the hybrid ones too, that use a little bit less gas and that are a little bit quieter. So it depends on what you're looking for. I think I like the gas powered ones because they tend to have more kick. What you need to be looking at when you're getting it is how many things do you plan to run on it? Like, how much do you just want a few lights on in your house? Or are you trying to run a refrigerator and a freezer and have your AC on? So you need to make sure that you have the capacity to carry that. So I find that a lot of hybrid ones don't usually have the power to power all the things that you want on your house. But I always recommend that people, if they can, look at the reviews on YouTube before, as far as someone that's used it and like the size square footage of your home or what you plan to be running on it. So it takes a lot of research. Basically, it's just, if your generator basically says it's good for 4,000 watts, which is voltage times amps, you have 3 circuits that you want to put on it, but they're all low power circuits, just like lights and such, that you're more than okay. But if you're going to put on a refrigerator and a freezer, then you may need something with more power. So I don't know if that answers your question, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Kind of, yeah, because I'm I know that formula. When it comes to installation for generators on a home, as it were, is it, because I know there's different types of generators, like if the power turns off, it automatically kicks back on.
Ah, those are very nice. Now those are you're talking about the Generac for the most part, right? The Generac, that's the company that started, one that automatically kicks in. Or there are also certain generators that do that, but those
those run
they
the
can
whole
definitely
entire
carry.
home, or they'll just like run a certain amount of circuits on that panel?
Well, it depends on how many panel boxes you have in the home. The generator will power whatever you have it connected to.
Gotcha,
so the electrician will determine, and the electrician discussing with you what circuits are on there. Unless the Generac was installed at the same time you built the home, it won't automatically have everything on it. There's no way. So if you're having it installed after your home is built, then that will be determined completely by you and the electrician.
Cool.
Those are good questions, though. But yes, do lots and lots of research, because there's so many different ones out there these days. If quietness is more important to you, then a lot of these hybrid ones are way quieter than the old school ones. If you don't want to have a lot of gas in storage, you don't have room for a lot of gas, then the hybrid one's also a good idea too.
Cool. Thank you, and I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
All right. No problem. We'll see you guys later. I gotta go.
Okay, make sure you like and subscribe my channel.
Yes. Any other questions? Oh,
I'm sorry. Is it on the chat? Your YouTube channel?
Yes. Let me put
yeah, drop it again.
The one I'm talking about now is She's Electric.
Yeah, because I'm gonna like it and subscribe to it. There it is.
Electric Chic is a more frou-frou channel of mine. That's makeup and hair.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
That might not be your thing, but if it is,
I'm gonna skip that one.
Then just go straight to She's Electric. That's got all my DIYs, and I have at least 2 generator installations there. So I'll give you some tips.
I'll put that on my Instagram. I'll load it up. I'll advertise it. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Any other questions? All right, thank you guys. So we will switch over to our next topic then. So for those that do not know me, I am Tashina Gonzalez. I live in Metro Detroit, and I am a holistic wellness coach, and as well as self-development coach. And so just briefly, I was a pretty sickly child with tons of allergies and was told I had a weak immune system, and just dealt with that for most of my life. And then I got to the year of 2012, and I started to have a health issue after health issue after health issue. So it started out with gut issues, where I was in and out of the hospital for an entire summer of 2012. 6 months later, I had high blood pressure. 6 months later, I started to have hormone issues, where I ended up having to have a minor surgery for that. I was in 2 accidents in 6 months during that time as well. So I had body pain, had to be in physical therapy. And then after that, I started to have some mood issues, and feeling at the time relatively young in my early and mid 30s, I was like, talking to everyone else and everyone around me also tended to have a lot of body pain, hormone issues, things of that nature. So I thought, this is not the way they're supposed to be. There's got to be a natural way. There has to be a different way to approach some of these things. And so I started trying to Google my way to good health, which was really slow. And then I ended up stumbling across a company that actually provided a bunch of education for me, as well as groups of products that help me in every single area that I was working with. And so now, 6 years later, I'm not on any medication. I feel better than I've ever felt. And that motivated me to get certified in herbal and nutrition and just all types of holistic things, mindfulness, and then eventually getting my self-development certification as well. So I'm going to share with you guys with everything that is circling the planet right now, and with those of us that are up north, and we are dealing with some of the colder weather, some of the things that you need to think about getting on hand that will help boost your immune system and give you some protection, and some of the things that we're using. Again, me specializing in whole food supplements, in essential oils and plants and herbs and things of that nature, as well as toxic-free living. I'm going to share with you 7 things that I would recommend for people to have in order to do all those things, boost their immune system and protect themselves. So the first thing I'm going to start with is an essential oil blend. This essential oil blend is called Thieves, which has a very interesting name. And this actually is going to boost your immune system. I actually take this internally, and I make a detox tea that I used to be on 3 medications for allergies. Like, I couldn't breathe the entire year because I'm allergic to dust, mold, pollen, grass, 5 different types of trees. Basically everything else died. And so I could never breathe my entire life. I now take zero allergy medicine, nor do I get colds in the winter anymore, because I've, first of all, take the toxins out of my home, and then I do things in order to boost my immune system. So one of the things that I do in the morning is I have a detox tea, immune boosting tea of apple cider vinegar, organic honey, half of a squeeze of lemon, and a drop of this Thieves. So why is this called Thieves? And we're going to talk about a couple other things that has that name with it. So this was inspired by the legend of 15th century French thieves during the Black Plague that robbed the dead and dying, but they were using aromatic combinations of clove, rosemary, vinegar, and other botanicals that they believed provided protection while they were stealing. So the French authorities at that time recognized that there was such a value in this mixture that upon the thieves' capture, they received a more merciful punishment on the condition that they divulged the ingredients of their secret formula. So this was crafted in the spirit of that legendary combination, and it has clove oil, cinnamon bark oil, eucalyptus radiata oil, rosemary oil, and lemon oil. So you can go on some reputable sites that have medical information, and you can see all of the properties that those would do for your immune system. So that's the first thing. The second thing is one of our favorite topics that we're buying all the time is our hand sanitizer. We're using way more hand sanitizer. Now, I actually work in the area of facilities management. And one of the things that we do try to stress in that area is making sure that we have green or toxic-free products. And so this particular hand sanitizer is going to have that same power of Thieves. Again, if it was good for a previous plague, why not try it in the time that we're living in right now? So this actually is aloe-based, and it is going to be non-toxic, good. You can have it around kids, your pets. And I don't know if anyone has seen like some of the articles that have talked about the dangers in the sanitizers and overuse of sanitizers, but that has been a concern. With this, you're actually not going to have that concern. The other thing that we have to do all the time right now is disinfect, right? So we have our Thieves spray. So I have this with me all the time, spraying it all over the place. I spray it on my mask before I leave anywhere. And again, it's going to have that same power of Thieves in it, but it's going to be toxic free. And it's actually going to, again, be okay for your pets, your kids. So both of these are travel size, very small, convenient. You can carry them with you. The other thing that a lot of people are struggling with are with their masks. So one suggestion in order to help those is to just suck on a cough drop before you put that mask in. That's one thing that I have to do all the time. I actually have, because of the type of asthma that I actually have a really, really, really hard time with the mask. I actually have been approved by my doctor not to go back to work if we are still wearing masks at that point in time. So this particular cough drops, again, the Thieves brand, it is going to help with sore throats, relieve coughs, and cool nasal passages. But again, before I put on my mask, in order to help with some of the issues, the breathing issues, as well as the moisture in your mouth, use a cough drop. Now, the other thing that we are all dealing with right now is increased stress, right? Every time something else is going on in the news, we're dealing with increased stress. And that is another area that plants can help us with. So one of our favorite essential oil blends is Stress Away. So, and why would you want to use aromatherapy for stress just in general? One of the main reasons is because your emotions are connected to your limbic system in your brain. And aromas or smells directly affect your limbic system. So one of the quickest ways to improve your mood or to change your emotions is to ensure that you're using some type of aromatherapy every day. So this particular blend, Stress Away, is amazing and wonderful. It has lime and vanilla. It has copaiba in it, which comes from Brazil and helps with releasing mental rigidity. We produce this in Ecuador. It has lavender, so it has all types of things that are just gonna help you feel great, relax you, reduce the stress, and make you feel amazing. And one of the next things that is super, super, super important is our vitamin D. So probably everyone has seen, again, in the news or article that is talked about, one of the things that I saw is that 80% of the people that have been affected and have passed away from what's going on right now are vitamin D deficient. So it's super important for everyone to be taking vitamin D. And for those of us, again, that are living and watching the replay of this or are here that are in the North, it's even more important for us. And so this particular one actually is going to help with healthy muscles, immune nervous system function, and it has 250% of your vitamin D. It's also infused with organic lemon balm essential oil. Again, something to research and something for you to look up. That actually helps with your mood. It's another thing that's going to help with your mood. And the other thing is essential oils are lifebloods of plants. And so they oxygenate the plants. And when we take them in, they oxygenate us as well. Getting more oxygen into your cells makes everything more bioavailable. So taking a vitamin blend like this that is infused with essential oil, you're going to get way more absorption from it. And I've seen that actually in my blood work from taking certain things. And we have some videos where we've talked about that as well. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, which I don't have the bottle with me, I only have some of them like in my little vitamin thing, is vitamin C. This is another thing that everyone in the news has been talking about, or articles, that is super important for our immune system during this time, again, with what's circulating the planet. So vitamin C is essential for our immune system, for metabolizing things. And the one that I use is a chewable vitamin C. It also has a lot of different things in it, like camu, acerola, cherry, rose hips. It delivers polyphenols, carotenoids, and optimal amounts of vitamin C in a convenient, chewable tablet. So those are the 7 things that I want to share with you in order for you to, at minimum, have on hand so that you can have a healthy immune system during this period. So just to recap, my favorite Thieves Essential Oil Blend, and I have a video on that detox tea that I do every single morning. All of us know we have to have our hand sanitizer. And again, there's some dangers in using hand sanitizers that have too much alcohol in them and chemicals and are not toxic free. We're going to use our disinfectant to get everything clean. We're going to be using a nice stress relieving essential oil blend to reduce our stress. And then our cough drops as well. Anytime we feel any type of tickle, but also before we put on a mask, our vitamin D and our vitamin C. So that is all I want to share. I usually go through my stuff pretty fast. So David, you put it in the comments, is an aloe-based hand sanitizer the best? So the aloe is what's going to make this actually moisturizing and the basis of it so that it does not dry it out and you don't get those side effects. But this sanitizer actually kills 99.99% of all the germs. And in addition to that, this spray was actually approved in the Philippines by the whatever organization is equivalent to their FDA to kill the thing that we're worried about right now. So
thank you.
any other questions? So again, if anybody wants to get with me, I put way up, I'll repost it. All the ways to get in contact with me. I do one-on-one consultations with individuals. You can find over 700 videos on my YouTube channel, 150 of which are in Spanish. And I have different channels. So I have some on mental wellness. I have I have motivational. I have general health. I have a bunch of different channels, but I have things like natural ways to deal with high blood pressure, hormone support, just all types of different things. So you just find the correct channel. And a lot of times you can actually put in the thing that you're looking for in my full name, and you'll be able to find some of that stuff as well. And also I do one-on-one consultations. I'll drop my Candidly link separately as well. And we can chat if you have any additional specific needs, because again, as a certified holistic wellness coach, that is what I do. I help people work on those. Any other comments or questions from anyone?
No, thank you. That was excellent presentation. Of course, you are pro 700 videos. I had no idea.
Well, I repurpose, right? So I do Facebook and Instagram lives, and I've done it for 4 years, a Feel Good Friday in English and Spanish regularly, and I upload it to YouTube. So 4 years of teaching.
Known Tashina like about 3 months. I'm gonna say this woman is about the most organized human being I've ever met. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know how you keep all those wheels going. You're amazing. You're like, I feel like we need a schedule for that. Whereas I'm like,
Right.
I like organization, but I'm like, I'm not volunteering. I'm barely keeping myself together.
Right.
So thank you for that. And thanks for getting this together.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And thank you all for coming. You're wonderful.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. So this will be uploaded to YouTube. And as long as you marked going or interested to the event, I will send you a copy of it, because I know some people left early or came late, but we will have all this information available to you so that you can get back with us.
Are you guys gonna have another one?
We most certainly can.
Yes, we're gonna have. I'd like to have a collabo on my channel. I'm taking Tashina there live on my YouTube channel, probably next month.
Okay.
So I'll announce for sure there, David. I think you're subscribed there. Everybody subscribe. If you aren't yet, please. I'll definitely announce it there.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your support again, guys. You don't know how much it means.
Greatly appreciate you guys. Have an amazing evening. Bye.
Bye.
You as well. Bye.